come on. You knew there was no way in hell I was going to come to Kentucky and not visit the man, the legend, one Colonel Harlan Sanders, the inventor of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Behind me, you can see a building that closely resembles the White House. You know, you could argue Colonel Sanders in his white outfit and that original recipe, 17 herbs and spices. Was it 18 or 7? There's a lot of herbs and spices. The White House is befitting a man such as Colonel Sanders. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and current museum of one Colonel Harlan T. Sanders. And it is also now the Yum Brands, one of the corporate headquarters for Yum Brand. KFC is the anchor company of Yum Brands. So, yeah, just thought I'd stop off here and pay homage to the Colonel at his home. Just me, a bucket of KFC, Colonel Sanders' home, and a bunch of geese. So let me see if I can make it back across this field without getting attacked by a bunch of geese. Yeah, just thought I'd pay homage, take a little bit of video of his former edifice. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye. All right, we are currently at the childhood home of one Muhammad Ali, arguably the greatest heavyweight champion ever, one of the greatest American sports figures ever, one of the greatest American, period. And a very humble home here in Louisville, kept very nicely. It's a little pink house here. Education brings self-respect. Muhammad Ali, the Clay family, was part of the black middle class of West Louisville, which was racially separate. Obviously, he was born in 1942, so that's deep in the middle of segregation. Here's where Cassius Clay's values were instilled, transforming him into a 3-time heavyweight champion and world-renowned humanitarian. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's just take a look here, look straight away. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's a small house, as you might imagine. I think we've already seen on this trip here to Kentucky, 2 great men came from extremely humble beginnings. Obviously Muhammad Ali from this home, and then even more so, Abraham Lincoln, that log cabin. My gosh, I think I could fit the log cabin on this sidewalk right here. But yeah, 2 great men, both from Kentucky, different eras, different races, but similar beginnings. Desire to continue to not only expand their own horizons, but expand the horizons of others. So I think that's a really great statement on both of them. So yeah, just wanted to come by and pay respects here as well. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. All right, we are at one of the homes of the arch nemesis, Thomas Edison. Yeah, this is actually a house that Edison stayed in the late 1880s when he was making some of his inventions. Designated the official Edison Museum by the Kentucky Assembly in 1982. Edison lived here in Louisville in the mid-1800s, 1866 to 67. He moved to New Jersey, as we all know, where he perfected his light bulb. Then he returned to Louisville in 1883 to do some more on his light. So let's just pan out here. So yeah, this was a house that Edison stayed in for several years while he lived here in Louisville. Not a lot to it. I don't know, by the gist of it, by looking at this simple brick house and then looking at its surroundings, I think they've kept the house as is for the last 150 years, but the rest of the area has completely changed. It's entirely industrial. I'm not going to pan all the way around, but you can see it's basically an industrial part of downtown Louisville. But no, they've kept Edison's home. I'm presuming it's pretty much exactly the same. Unfortunately, it's closed. They're only open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So, again, just one of those places that it's not a destination in and of itself, but if you're ever in Louisville, stop by and say hey, type of things. Same with Colonel Sanders' place. It wasn't open, and neither was Muhammad Ali's childhood home. I think those are the type of places that aren't necessarily going to be destinations unto themselves, but if you're in Louisville or you're within a certain radius of Louisville, just come by and take a look at it, be there, touch it, pay respect. I mean, we're talking about Colonel Sanders, we're talking about Thomas Edison, and we're talking about the greatest of them all, Mr. Muhammad Ali. And I've got one more place that I'm gonna go to before I wrap this up, head back to the Airbnb, and I'll be done for the day. All right, bye everybody. All right, I am on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, and the exact site of where Lewis and Clark, Meriwether Lewis and George Clark began their expedition. As many of you know, President Thomas Jefferson, right after the Louisiana Purchase was made, ordained, for lack of a better term, selected Lewis and Clark to start their expedition of the Louisiana Purchase as well as territories beyond. And at this exact site, on this exact river, on that boat landing right there, although the boat landing isn't exactly the same as it was 220 years ago. I'm pretty sure there was no concrete helping boats get down in there, but this is where they started it. They got the Corps of Discovery all together, got their boats together, and from here on the Ohio River between Indiana and Kentucky at Louisville, they began that expedition. They moved on down the river into Missouri and got a few more people, and then that's where they really started the trek. But yeah, it all began right here. The two of them met up right here along the Ohio River and began that journey. So I'm gonna go take a little better look at the river from this side. All right, I am next to the river now, the Ohio River. You can see the dam right there. A lot of trees right here along the river. Also a lot of bugs. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna do this video, but just beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. You can actually see some folks, I don't know if they're fishing out there. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I don't live around a bunch of dams. In fact, I don't live around rivers for that fact. So I don't know if this is something that people do, fish right off a dam, especially when there's high pressure water coming through, but maybe that's a thing. Just absolutely gorgeous here though. Yes, again, I am on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. Came over here to see the George Clark home site, and they've got the boat landing where they shoved off for their famous voyage. And here's the boat ramp that they went from. Lewis took his Ford F-350 down there took his Bassmaster with the Evinrude 150 off the trailer hitch, and Lewis and Clark were on their way. And here is what remains of George Clark's home. That's it. It's interesting with a lot of these old homes, the only thing that ends up lasting is the chimney that would have been built basically right in the middle of the home. So you would have a stone hearth, a stone chimney, but then surrounded by just a bunch of wood, obviously. And so, not surprising that 220 years later, the only thing still standing is that stone chimney, stone hearth. And then over here, you've got a replica of a log cabin home that would have been in this area. But yeah, this is the exact location right here of George Clark's house. So he was the other half of Lewis and Clark. And then as I pan around ever so gently, you see more of the Ohio River. A lot of trees. There's the dam. There. Still see the folks in their boat out there, presumably fishing. See some more of the river over here. Again, apologies, covered up by a bunch of trees. There's a bridge that goes across the river, connects Indiana to Kentucky. There's about 3 of them right here in Louisville. 3 bridges that connect Kentucky and Indiana. So again, just a beautiful, beautiful spot. All right, well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here at George Clark's home and the site for the beginning of the Lewis and Clark expedition, and head on back to the Airbnb, start my own expedition in my Tesla to navigate me back to the Airbnb on the Kentucky side. All right, everybody. Hope y'all are having a great day. Bye.